And yes, I do have a couple comments to make. So when I got the call a couple weeks ago from Merlin, and Angela was kind enough to come to Charleston, South Carolina, where I live, and surprise me by actually being there and presenting the pin in person. I was shocked, overwhelmed, humbled beyond belief, because unlike the gentlemen and ladies behind me who have spent, in almost every case, their entire careers in this wonderful industry, I haven't. And unlike, I think, all of them, I haven't started my own security business. I happen to have stumbled into this industry a number of years ago, and to receive this kind of recognition and to be on the stage with these guys, I can tell you is one of the absolute highlights of my career. So I can't thank this group enough for inviting me into the club. It's really, really very humbling. Early in my career, I was very blessed to have had people that introduced me to the value of learning from others in other industries or in the same industry, and to get involved in volunteerism, and to be afforded the opportunity now to do the same kinds of things that others, some of whom are industry icons in other industries that I've been exposed to do the same kind of thing in this industry that they have afforded me way back then, is really pretty special to me. In my time as a volunteer, I will tell you the great majority of the time it has been as much fun as I've had in my career, but those of us who have been on the inside know that there are moments where sometimes as a volunteer it feels like you're in front of the Senate committee confirming a Chief Justice nominee, where you're taking arrows, because as volunteers, our charge as volunteers is to do the best thing for the industry, even if it's not always the most popular thing. And I'm proud to be associated with a group of men and women who have done that throughout their time of volunteering in the industry, and I'm honored to be included in that. A couple specific thank yous, and we will start with Pat Egan, who during my presidency at Select Security believed in the value of volunteerism, and I was able to give the amount of time that I gave to the association, so that's the first thank you. The second thank you is to the management team that I worked with at Select, and some of them I think are in the room, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to mention them by name so it actually goes in on the record. Thanks to Roger, Steve, Alex, Joe, Bob, and Bob. Thanks to you guys. Hopefully you'll see this video at some point, because I would not have been able to give the amount of time that I gave without their support. And next, I'd like to thank those that have served on the executive committee with me over the years, and in no particular order. And yes, I had to write them down because I don't want to forget anybody. And the first name that I'll mention is the winner of the award yesterday, the Sarah Jackson Award, Deanne, Chris, Tim, Marshall, John, James, Steve. And yes, he's known as Bad Steve. I'm known as Good Steve. So Bad Steve, too. Jamie, Angela, certainly, thank you. And a gentleman who can't be here today because he's struggling a bit, Dom, thanks for being part of my indoctrination into volunteering in the industry. There's some other industry friends that I think weren't mentioned, and I'll name your first names. You know who you are. George, Kirk, Robert, John, and Mark, thanks a bunch for being there side by side with me through this. The second last group is the ESA leadership team, and the professional staff that I have had the great pleasure of working with for quite a long time now. And the leadership team gets mentioned by name frequently. I'm going to mention them by name, but I also want to mention, and I think most of them are seated over there. I see them waving. Their names don't get mentioned often, and I'm now going to call them out by name. But first, we'll start with Merlin. Thanks a million. I can't believe how good a friend you've become. So Merlin, Jillian, and Michelle, you guys are phenomenal. You get kudos and credit, but the audience doesn't really know how much you really deserve. So a million thanks. And I think I saw Jillian over there, and I think there's Michelle too. So thanks, ladies. It's been an absolute pleasure. Tom and Chris, I don't know if you're in the room, but thanks a million. Jess and Sophia, if you're in the room, wave so everybody can see you. I can't see anything. Yes, the lights are bright. But I want you to listen to these first names. And ladies, I think they're all ladies at this point. Yeah, they're giggling, so over there. Stand up when I mention your name. Lexi, Sophia, Jessica, LaShawna, Kendall, Hannah, Daniela, Pat, Amanda, Bethany, and Kaylee. Yes, thank them for all they do, please. And the last two are the last two are the most important two, and they're here. And it's my wife Rebecca and daughter Jessica, and my son-in-law Brian, who's an attorney, can't be here or couldn't be here. It's interesting. Jason Lutz and I were talking in the hallway about half an hour ago, and we were talking about when someone volunteers, whether it's in this association or another, it means that you're making a choice to do something and give back to a group or an industry, and that's a really, really commendable thing to do. But it also takes people at home who believe in you and support you through good times and bad times, and I got the best. So Rebecca, Jess, Brian, love you guys. Thanks for being an example of what a human being should be. I'm honored to be your husband and your dad and your father-in-law, so thank you. Scripture says that older people
Easy. Speak for yourself.
Older people have a responsibility to make themselves available to impart wisdom and guidance and leadership based on their experience to younger people. And younger people have a responsibility to listen and learn and gain from that experience that you only get through years of doing what you do. Now, younger people also have a responsibility to listen and do something with it, but they also have a responsibility to, in turn, give the enthusiasm and new ideas and different perspectives to the older people. And it is not a coincidence that it is in Scripture that we learn about that, but didn't I just describe what an association is also? That it is the responsibility of people like us on this stage to do what we do. It is the responsibility of younger people to challenge us, and I'm in this group, to challenge us and have new ideas. And I am thrilled that the Electronic Security Association, by its very nature, is built around those tenets that we find in Scripture. I think that is the coolest thing that there could possibly be. So, again, thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for the honor. I appreciate this more than you can possibly know, because I know I don't necessarily fit the perfect mold if there is one, and if there was one, I guess we just broke it. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the show. I look forward to seeing you all.